Good evening all. It's my pleasure and privilege to welcome you once again for the third day International FDP on research methodologies and new perspectives. My pleasurable welcome to all the dignitaries and the teaching fraternities from all over the country who have joined in this virtual forum. And also, I welcome all my dear faculty members and my colleagues. And also, it's my pleasure to welcome our principal, sir, and heads of various departments for this forum. And I take privilege in welcoming our today's special guest, resource person, Dr. Aliza Dugarayan, ESL, EFL, ESP teacher, teacher trainer and global educator, international speaker. Today, in spite of Rania Lampo, due to some urgencies, our resource person Rania ma'am was not able to join with us. So in spite of Rania ma'am, we have Dr. Aliza Dugarayan ma'am. She is an expert in ESL, EFL and ESP, trainer and also teacher trainer, global educator and international speaker. She has done her PhD at American State Pedagogical University after KH, Abovian, Pedagogical Sciences. She took her master's in the fields of psychology and foreign languages, and she is an ESL teacher at Hazaran Basic School in Levin after Williams Heroin, and an ESL trainer at Sky English. A Spage Online School, DG Online School, TOEFL, IELTS, and trainer in TT, SASS, and also EFL trainer at Small Oxford, and a lecturer at Yalta University of Czech Republic. Teacher training in many countries. She has trained in many schools and colleges for most of the younger generations, and she is also a trainer at EDU Armenia, British Council Armenian branch, ITI Armenia, etc. She has taken part in many different international conferences as a speaker in different international projects and also as an EFL trainer. She is also the author of many scientific articles in the field of teaching English as a second foreign language, pedagogy. Currently, she is volunteer in different international projects and companies such as HETT, EDU Armenia, Yalta University, etc. And she is in lifelong education in Armenia, the training academies like TESOL, TKT modules, CETFL, and she is doing many programs in American universities in Armenia. She has also participated in different international projects as an EFL, ESL, ESP trainer for the foreign students, teachers, and professors. Now, she is a country representative in different international educational projects, etc. Alice ma'am, really, we are very much proud of you and very much honored to have you on this wonderful forum. We welcome you, ma'am. Now the session is yours.
Today's topic will be about research design, because having a research, it doesn't mean just you have a research and can go, but at the same time, having the research, it's going to be some kind of observation, exploration, and finding a new. But in order to have a very effective research, you just have to plan to design it very carefully in order to have it. First of all, let's try to know what is research, because while talking about the research, it can be any topic, any problem that needs to have a solution for it. And that's why it's going to be like something to describe, to explain, to predict, to find, to solve the problem. And going through the whole path, it means that you are going to solve and find the solution of the problem, of some kind of maybe phenomenon or something that really will be useful for you in order to go and to know more about it. And while having research is all the while having a research, it has different kind of components that usually we go through in order to get the final, let's say, skeleton, the final scheme of the research. Usually it has aim and objectives, materials and content. These are, let's say, the main content parts that usually we use in order to get a research, in order to make or to have something really we need for it. And any of these components has its branches and fields too, because depending on what kind of field you are going to be in and to research, to represent, the aims, the objectives, materials, and content is going also to be different too. Because if I'm going to have, for example, methodological research, it will be another format and another content. And if I'm going to have something, for example, descriptive or something, it will also. This is going to be the whole structure and starting through the path. As you see, the first part is going to be like an introduction and going background of the study, because the first step usually when we want to start the research, we pay attention what we are interested in, or what kind of problems are modern one, and what kind of problems can be in the first place. And according to this, we try to find, or let's say to make the topic more concrete one. Because I can be, as a scholar, be interested in, for example, in assessment, but it's a very big topic in teaching, or maybe I am interested in pedagogical approaches. It's another sphere, and there are different kinds of approaches. That's why the first step is going to be like a field that I'm going to get involved in, try to find resources. The second step after having it is going to be the review of the literature. I can be interested in the topic, but I'm not sure. Are there any enough, let's say, sources for it in order to use and to have this or explore this topic? That's why it's very important one to know, to go through the literature. Or maybe this topic has been examined or explored many, many years ago, but due to the new technological development, there are a lot of new issues that can be really used in order to go and have new points of view about it. And also the problem statement. Usually when we go and try to have the content of the whole research and try to design, because the word design just tells me about it, that I'm going to plan to have something. I have to go through all these paths in order just to get new information, in order just to have new parts of it and get something new, take something new for me, and get at the same time new information which will allow me to solve the problem. Not only solve, but at the same time to do some kinds of conclusions and also suggestions in the field. For example, if my field is going to be about the nature, it means that there are a lot of problems connected with the planet solutions, and anytime this kind of problem solution, doing researches, publishing, exploring the literature will give me an opportunity to find more and more, not only solutions, but do some kind of really effective just suggestions on it. And in order to start and to have my research, one of the first steps is going to be to find out what kind of study I'm going to undertake, because it can be like only exploratory study. I can just explore, try to represent what kind of condition, or on what stage of development, or on what stage of research is this problem and what can be done. This is going to be like an exploratory study. Or I can have just descriptive study. For example, if my research refers to the historical event, it's going to be like a descriptive study. And in this case, I have to explore and to represent the events, for example, for a specific era, or I'm going to represent everything from the point of view of historical writers or on the basis of historical books or something. This is going to be a descriptive. And also some kinds of obtaining an initial grasp of phenomenon. It can be any kind of phenomenon, starting from the teaching material, starting from the some kinds of phenomena that we can meet in the nature. In this case, it has not only observation, not only exploration, but at the same time, maybe it will, if it's the field of science, it can just require clear or some kind of necessary steps, even experiments, even it can be laboratory or it can be some kind of chemical, for example, experiments, and there should be like a product at the end of it, and we can just have it and try to make it to use. For example, my phenomenon will be, for example, recycling, and I'm going, for example, to recycle the rubbish or the trash, or maybe even, for example, paper of some kinds of copybooks, books which are very old. I can just do the recycle and try to get new kinds of paper and make it use. And this is going to be some kind of, I want to know, will this phenomenon will be useful? Can I use this practice in order to recycle it or not? Or I can take any kind of phenomenon from the nature, try to explore it, maybe the kind of, for example, butterflies or something, and to get new information on the basis of it. In order to design my research, I also need some methods that are going to be used in order to get the great data. Because when I start designing my research, sometimes we need, first of all, to find literature. After finding literature and sources, I can explore, I can know many, many new things about it. And on this path, I'm just going to have the data. And the data just collecting and gaining or reading, it doesn't mean that I have already the data and this one is okay. My research has been done. No, this is going to be the step one, because in this case, I'm going to get the whole, let's say, image of my research basis, which is scientific. From the scientific point of view, it has been just proven, and it can be like something that is constant, stable information or data. But this data, on the other hand, can be like a real basis for us, which can be analyzed, which can be also compared with the data we will get from the experiments, from different kinds of techniques. It can be technological technique, it can be questionnaires, it can be enquetes, it can be tests or something that we have collected together. And from this point of view, I have to analyze all the data. That's why the next step for me for designing a good research is to choose the right like group of methods. It can be quantitative methods or qualitative methods, because for quantitative one, I have to use numbers. It can be deductive. There are some kinds of as a main focus can be like the cause and effect, and also it requires hypothesis, because I can give a problem. For example, if I could choose a right model, the online teaching will be effective and can be used in schools instead of face-to-face. This is a hypothesis that I can use. Or I can say the influence of light can be emitted, for example, doing some kinds of experiments. This is another hypothesis. It means, while talking about the hypothesis, it's a problem that needs to be just explored, to be analyzed, and uh, the results we are going to get, at the end, we are going to see, is our hypothesis proved or not? Or sometimes I can give any kind of hypothesis which gives me an opportunity, the researcher, to disagree with a given statement through the experiment, through, depending again on the type of research, it's going to be like proven or not proven. This is another version. And also it can force people into categories, which, for example, it gives you an opportunity to go depth, to know more and more issues and problems, or research everything on that topic. And what refers to the qualitative methods is going to be like words, it can be inductive, it requires more participation and involvement on the part of researcher, because the researcher is the first form, for the first type, it goes to get numbers, to have statistics. Here we are going to explore something that in order to get an understanding the phenomena is a social, institutional, political, economic context. Because in this case, I'm going just to prove or maybe represent some kind of categories or qualifications or maybe peculiarities just for having such kind of effective context. And also, it doesn't require a hypothesis. I can have a goal, I can have an aim and objective to do some kinds of researches, but it doesn't require to have a hypothesis and say that I have to prove my hypothesis now. And in this case, maybe it can have the drawbacks that they focus on a few individuals and may therefore be difficult to generalize, because there will be a lot of information about it and you have to go to search to know more and more about it. Let's look at the whole, let's say, a brief scheme of research that we usually use in order to design research. The first one is going to be, as you see, the first point is going to be the problem statement. As I have told, when we say what and why, it means why we want to explore and what we want to explore. In any field, depending on what field you are involved in as a researcher, you are going to find a topic. But remember, any topics that you are going to use, any topics that you are going to choose and later use it as the topic of your research, try to find, to gain more information, how valid, how, let's say, modern this topic is, because it can be a very good topic, but not the appropriate one for that time, for your field, for, first of all, what would it given you? If I'm interested in, for example, in surgery or maybe neurosurgery, let's say, maybe I will find some kinds of new methods. This will be my research to find something new. But if I'm, for example, just interested in face-to-face learning, but knowing that for this time, online learning, virtual platform learning is going to be number one, for maybe for a period of time, for example, pandemic time, it was number one. As a researcher, I will try to find more information, just giving new information, finding, generalizing, or just concluding or getting new information about it. That's why it's important to know how valid and at the same time how modern your topic is. And actually, we just choose answering, and this will be definitely the answers for your what and why questions. And after it, we go to know more, for example, aims and objectives. What is my aim? Usually, sometimes if I have hypothesis, I try to connect my aim with my hypothesis, because when my aim is, for example, to explore, to define to know something new, to find out something new, or even to comment this one. This is going to be my aim. And in this case, for realizing my aim of the research, I am going to have some kinds of steps. And for it, I will just bring out objectives. Objectives are going to be the steps that I'm going to realize my aim and to prove, or vice versa, not to prove my hypothesis. These are the steps. It can be, for example, starting exploration, then description, maybe doing some kind of test with it, and then doing conclusions, or just proving that my hypothesis is going to be the one that I want to prove that I am right. In this case, I agree with the statement I have just have for my hypothesis. Then it seems that I have everything in order to go, but my design is unfinished, and because this is everything that I have talked is going to be like in the introduction part of my research. And in this case, this introduction part, just brief description of my work and brief description about how modern the topic is. Then, after this introduction part, I am passing to another, which is called as theoretical part. In theoretical part, I'm giving a theory. I'm going to analyze, to represent, maybe approaches, literature, let's say statistics about that topic, because I can use different scientific articles, books, any information, any informational source that has information about the topic. This is going to be. It's important to choose what kind of methodology, how. If I have for what and why, now I'm going to how. How can I explore? How can I gain information? How can I prove, or vice versa, not prove the hypothesis? How I am going to realize the aim and objectives? How can I do it? What kind of steps I need to go through them and get the real information for it? These are steps that usually are very important for choosing a right methodology, because all the components of the design of research, it depends on one component, depends on another component, because only in this case you can just be sure that as a result is going to be the one that you wanted to get. If one component is unfinished, or is not the one, or is not good, it can influence, can affect on other component, and the research can start very well, for example, but for some part of it, it can just go to another field. That's why it is very important one in this case to know that we as researchers, we should know the whole component and try to make the balance between them. Can be while doing after the methodology. This is like a practical part. I have to choose what kind of method I have used and go in order to get the right results. In this case, I can use different techniques, different methods, different like statistical reviews in order to get the right result. Because I can count, because I can analyze, because I can give or even create something new. It can be a program, it can be a training course, or it can be even some program or project that can allow you to get a best solution for the problem. And going to the results and solutions. Usually, when I have my introduction part as in my research, and going to all the steps, I come to the end. And at the end of it, I just get the part that this research is going to be the ones that I really needed for it. And in many cases, it can allow me to get the result and solutions that are like the reflection of the whole problem that I have been investigating. And in this case, if you compare your goal, objectives, and hypotheses, they are in the balance with the solutions, with the conclusions that you have got at the end of the research. And what does it mean? It gives you an opportunity to go again through the points, compare them, and get the right solution for it. Because when we have conclusions and also maybe one or two or three solutions for the problem, I can I can create a perfect strategy for the problem. And what will give me the strategy in my design? The last part is going to be, sorry, it can be like the suggestions, because these suggestions will give me an opportunity to, sorry, will give me an opportunity to go and to suggest something new for my problem. And get new suggestions, because I can create a new project. I can create a new basis for exploring, for researching the problem deeper and deeper. And maybe it will be like, can be worked out a new strategy, which will give them an opportunity to have to make my research more important and valid one. I think these are some kind of ones that really are very good and can be also at the same time be a great opportunity for everyone to design. Because remember, when you have a great design, when you have all the components in your research, it means that you are going to be succeeded at the end of the project. Because such kind of components, when sometimes we say, I can miss this one, or I can not to pay attention to another component, it isn't true. Because in this case, all the components will go through it and have all the components at the same time. Now I will, at the same time, I will share with you another from the point of view of teaching English, to how can it be, what kind of components can be used in order to design a course. I will give you this opportunity to have it. Just a second, I will share my screen again with you. Designing a course for teaching English. This is another research that have been done in order just to create something new. Here, the aim was to balance the between theory and practice. This was aim in order to make the balance and what can be done in order to have a good research. From this point of view, we have just try to make the balance at the same time, using the theory and practice and get some kind of solutions. For aims and objectives, there were some kind of what kind of aims and objectives we can use and we cannot use. Because every kind of research that we should concentrate on the aim. It shouldn't be so broad and it shouldn't be so narrow at the same time. That's why try, if your aim is too broad, it means that you are going to be confused and mixed on some time. The course will have content, assessment, this is going. And this research has been done in order to find out what can be done in order to have to work out to create a perfect teaching course. The content, lesson plannings, assessment. This is the main components that have been taken into account while just designing and doing the course, because in this case it was as a researcher, I just have an opportunity to research and to find how can I create a course for teaching English language in this case, and what components is going to be, and everything that the final versions that I have got to have an effective English teaching course on the virtual platform. It just helped me to create really. But before going and getting it, I have to do a lot of research, a lot of different kinds of materials I have worked out, and at the same time I have made different kinds of questionnaires, even have created, let's say, brief lessons in order to find out, to work out them, to represent, to get the result. And after just having all the result doing, I could just do, and my research final version was that I could create a model which allows me to have, for example, effective English classes. And there were some kinds of conclusions and suggestions at the same time, which helped me to work out another strategy to correct the mistakes that we have had, or maybe if it will be necessary, just to broaden or make it shorter or longer the course. The course had included every point of view. It was being just tried and experimented in different fields, and it really had a very good effect on it. That's why I think that it will be also this example for you. This was from the pedagogical point of view. I think such kind of researches can be done in any field. And one more time, concerning and depending on your topic, you can choose the right one. You can choose, and at the same time, you can have the right topics in order to design. Because in any case, when you are representing something and you want to have and to do some kind of research, you should always just be assured about its reliability, about its validity, generalization, and every time when you take into account the main component, it will just make you a new, maybe in this case, a new step, a new field for you to go. And every time just doing such kind of researches, it will be a new input into the science, into the field that you are involved in. And you should just remember that any of your research is very important for the society, for your country, for the science, first of all. Thank you.
Hello. I am Iraqi. I'm Azhar Wahid. Hello.
Good evening. Good evening. I hear.
Yes, I am Azhar Wahid. My phone in a problem. Yes, another phone. I call.
Sorry.
Madam, you shall continue.
As there were, I think they were going to ask something, some question. I have already finished my presentation. If any question, you can just ask your questions.
Participants, if you have any doubts regarding ma'am's topic on research design, you can ask your queries from ma'am. Participants?
Ma'am, I have a question to ask. Good evening.
Yes, sir. You
Yes,
can
please.
proceed with.
Yes. So my question is that when do we prepare the introduction of a research? whether after completing the chapters or before the chapters.
When you're doing what? Sorry, can you repeat question?
Okay, ma'am. That when we prepare the chapters and introduction of a research work, when do
Uh-huh.
we prepare the introduction of a research work? Whether
Uh-huh.
after completing the chapters or first we write the introduction. What is the
Yeah.
stage?
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you for your question. When you are doing as a research, as I have told you, you can just make your, let's say, the skeleton of your research, but it's not the final version because it can be just changed many, many times, especially about the chapter title, especially maybe in some cases the content too. Because the first version that you usually do, it just combines all the information that you have at that moment, or you have certain got the information on the topic. But after doing some kind of researches, maybe even having your experiments, you see that the content that you have done is not available or appropriate to the work that you have done. You just comparing, you see there is no balance between them, and it's not, you can change. Even you can change if after that I can have a hypothesis, for example, that I want to prove that this is one, but after doing my experiments, I see that I can't prove. Vice versa. I am just starting disagreeing with the hypothesis that I have. And in this case, you can just making change, because the final version you will see and you will compare, which will be connected your introduction, your chapters, and your conclusion only after doing the experiments. Before doing it, without doing it, you are not sure that the research you are going to do, it will be really valid or reliable for you. That's why it's you can anytime you are available to change it. And the one, for example, I will have a mind about this topic, and I can just I am going to have 3 chapters. I'm going to have this one, but after your research, you will find out that, oh no, I'm going to add this one because while doing my experiment, I have found out that there is another branch that is connected with my topic, and it will be also modern or connected or effective ones that I can join to my topic too. And that's why if you compare, let's say, if you keep your drafts, what you had and what you have got after it and compare it, sometimes you will say that there are some kinds of points of you, or maybe some parts of your research that they differ from your draft. Your final one is the one that you will get at the end of it. But before getting this final, you have to go through a big, let's say, long way but doing. But it's the one that, for example, we as researchers usually choose in order to get to have new input into the science. That's why you can definitely just choose, change, make it perfect, maybe, or just having changes, it will be just more effective for your research.
Thank you, ma'am. Clear.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your very crystal clear answer for the question. And any other questions from the participant side? I think we can move on to the next session. Ma'am, thank you so much, Aliza, ma'am. Really, we are very much honored to have you for this session, and also thank you so much, ma'am, for your wonderful session on research design, and you have thrown light on every researcher, ma'am, every researcher by telling the strategies one should have, and research strategies one should apply, and the components involved in research that everyone should be followed while they're doing own research, and how a research guide to follow it for their wards. Really, it was a wonderful session, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for spending your valuable time with us. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much too. It was also an honor for me to be here and to share my experience. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Now it's time to move on to the next session. I think our second session speaker, Professor Dr. Esther Mola, ma'am, is on the forum. She is a CEO and Director, Elite Esther Empire, founder and CEO of Elegant Empire Education. And she is going to present her on the topic about presenting research. Esther, ma'am, on behalf of Cape Comorin and AVP College of Arts and Science, our heartfelt and immense welcome you, ma'am. Now it's time to share few words about our second session speaker, Esther, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure to introduce our chief guest, Professor Dr. Esther Mala, who has graciously accepted our invitation to join us today. She is the founder and CEO of Elegant Empire Education, Ambassador for Commonwealth Iconic Federation, Doctor of Business Management and Education, Country Director, IPRH Malaysia. She is also an international inspirational speaker, certified global trainer, international soft skill trainer, international Toastmaster. She is the recipient of various awards like Educationist Macedonia Golden Award winner, Leadership Award. She is also a parenting coach, child and youth development coach, telco consultant, Malaysia, and also SDG mentor and Oriental University, International Peace Ambassador, accountant, UK and IT engineer, UK. Malaysian Educational Ambassador, Caligul's Book, UK. Recently, she received various awards like Best Global Educator Award, Worldwide Leadership Gold Award winner, Most Influential and Iconic Leader, International Inspirational Speaker Award, Global Legend and Peace Award. She is also a member and chairperson of Cape Comorin Trust. She also won International Peace and Humanitarian Award, Outstanding Edu-Leader Award, Prizal Golden Global Iconic Award.
The next will appear.
Ma'am, now the session is yours.
Yes. Thank you so much, admin. Happy weekend, dear researchers. The host first, Dr. Sailaja, the admin, the participants. Thank you for this opportunity given to me to share on research presentation. Yeah, presenting research. Yes. Can you please click on the screen, Dr. Sailaja? Yes. Can this screen be maximized? Can it be maximized? If you can't, it's okay. Okay, today.
Madam, it is already maximized.
Yeah, if you can maximize, please do.
No, ma'am.
Otherwise, it's all right. It's all right.
This is the maximum limit.
Okay, okay, fine. So, presenting research papers is an essential part of academic and scientific community. Whether you are presenting at a conference, in a classroom, or during a lecture, a well-structured presentation can effectively communicate your research findings. Here's an outline of the steps involved in presenting research paper. Please click. The first one, preparation. You have to know your audience. Understand the knowledge level, interest, and expectation of your audience, and tailor your presentation accordingly. At the same time, you have to engage your audience. Use visuals like incorporate images, graphs, and multimedia to enhance understanding. Multimedia means you can also add musics. Storytelling. You can present in a form of storytelling where you narrate your research journey to make it relatable and memorable. Give examples. Use real-world example statistics, research done by others. You can give reference to illustrate complex concepts. Click, please. Yes. Next, you have to organize your content. You have to structure your presentation with a clear beginning, middle, and end. We normally call it opening. In writing, we call it opening, the body, and the closing. Create an outline of storyboard to plan the flow of your presentation by doing introduction. Introduce your topic, research questions, and objectives. Literature review. Summarize relevant previous research. You can put down from where you pick up the facts and figures. Methodology. Describe your research, design, data collection, and analysis method. Next, results. Present your findings with graphs, charts, and tables. Later, I will share with you some examples. Discussion. You can engage the audience with discussion. Interpret your results, highlight your implications, and relate them to existing literature. In conclusion, you also write up a conclusion to summarize your main points and provide avenues for future research. Next. Once, click once. Once enough. Don't click all at once. Yes. Next, practice. Rehearse your presentation multiple times to become familiar with the content and timing. Practice in front of peers or mentors to receive feedback. Or you even can practice in front of the mirror, time yourself, or even your friends and family members. Next. Click. Visual aids. As I mentioned earlier, prepare visual aids such as slides, graphs, charts, and images to complement your presentation. Yeah, as we know, our brain captures, remembers well when there's pictures. Description done together by using picture representation, such as images, graphs, and all that. Keep slides clear and uncluttered. Use bullet points and key phrases instead of lengthy paragraphs, too many words. Choose fonts and colors that are easy to read. Next. Cite sources. Properly cite all sources, references, and quotations in your presentation. Be ready to provide additional information if asked during the question and answer session. Next. Yeah, this is sample of visual aids. You can prepare a graph. Okay, this is called bar chart. Bar chart, there's many types of bar chart, but you can use horizontal or vertical type of bar charts. Some you can see is running across this map. So you have to choose the suitable ones according to your research and message you want to convey to the audience or to the reader. Next. You may also use table layout. Yeah, you can have 3 columns. Like here, you can see is 3 columns and 4 rows, including the title is 5 rows. You can also have 4 columns, and you can have more rows, 5, 6 rows, depending on what is your data. From this data, you arrive at your charts. You can do any charts using this table description. But if you don't need to make charts, you can just make a plain one by providing in a table form. So the audience will understand better. The audience or the readers, yeah, will understand better, easy to remember and understand the facts. It's very clear, not too much of words. Next. Yes, you may also use diagram form. Again, whatever you want to use, what type of visual aids you want to use, it depends on what you want to convey, how you want to convey, so that your audience, your readers will understand it clearly. Again, what is the material that comes? And you must choose the suitable one according to your research, the topic, the elements involved with the diagrams or visual aids you choose. Next. Yes, one more thing I have to qualify that if you use diagrams and pictures, you can engage your audience easily, because we get, as human beings, we get excited looking at colors, images, musics. Yeah. So this is one of the things. Pie chart. There are so many types of pie chart. You must choose the pie chart which clearly explains what you intend to relate to your audience. And when you create a pie chart, you have to have the legends, like you see at the bottom. Yeah, you have according to the colors here, set here. So you put there the color light blue, what it represents. Purple, what it represents. Yellow, what it represents. And green, what it represents. So the audience or reader can understand clearly what are you talking about. Yeah, and the diagram should be big enough, and the font used must be suitable so that it's clear. Next, please. Yes, as I mentioned just now, you can also put pictures, images with this description of what you are talking about. This is a sample. Yeah. Next. Yeah, this is another one. This is, we call it line charts. Line charts also, there's many types. Some are very confusing. If you come across some line charts, the reader or audience might not be able to understand what are you trying to say by drawing so many lines. But so you have to choose carefully the purpose, the topic of your research, and the colors, and how you label your y-axis and x-axis. And you have to label, like normally in this diagram, it's not written at the y-axis and x-axis, what is this chart about? Because this is just a draft, a sample. But you have to write at the x-axis and y-axis. Yeah, this is y, this is x. You have to write down what this represents and what this category represents here. Maybe number of years, number of units, number of people. You have to write it clearly, and the legend here, what each color represents. So when you do it this manner and you put a chart title clearly, so the audience and all the readers will understand clearly what are you talking about. Next. Yeah, in presenting research, the first step is, after you prepare the contents, you structure out, then you do an introduction. Title and the author. Begin by introducing yourself and your paper title and authors. Next, click. Hook. How do you hook? Start with a compelling book or a real world scenario that relates to your research. Tell a short, a brief, a story about your presentation, what it's all about, and why do you pick this if needed. Next. I think you can click twice. You can click all because I have no control over the slide. So you can click all to save time. Research and question or objective. Clearly state the research question or objective you aim to address. Next will be significance. Explain why your research is important and how it contributes to the field. Next. Methodology. Under this heading, you have data collection, where you describe the methods and data source used in your research. Next, data analysis. Explain the analytical techniques you employ. What are the techniques you use to explain about your research? Next, assumption. Mention any assumptions or limitations of your research so that your audience or reader will understand why you take such measures. Yeah, and why it is not that, what is the limitations, and if possible, how you can, what are the alternatives available. Next, please. You also list down the results. First, data presentation. Present your research findings using visual aids and clear, concise language, as I mentioned earlier. Yeah, you can sum up your research, and you can also present your results in this manner. Interpretation. Discuss the meaning and implication of your results, highlighting the key trends, patterns, and insights. Next is the comparison. If applicable, compare your results with previous research or industry standards, and you give reference from where your audience or reader can refer to learn more in depth about the research you have done. Next. Yes. Discussion. During the discussion time, you can address questions, encourage questions from the audience and address them as they arise. Limitations. Yeah, going back to questions, in case you find questions are difficult to answer, you need to refer something, yeah, you can always get the contact of the audience or ask the contact to reach you, yeah, at your email or at the comment box so that you can answer them later, because not everybody can remember everything, yeah, at the time of presentation. So you can, don't be afraid if you can't give an accurate answer, you can also give later. But of course, we will try to answer as much as questions as possible. Limitations. Discuss any limitations or uncertainties in your research. As I mentioned earlier, you can engage your audience and readers in discussion about the topic. You can ask ideas if your audience would like to share. Future research suggests potential areas for further study and research extension. Next. In your conclusion, you may summarize, provide a concise summary of your key findings and their significance. And you may also put down your takeaways. Emphasize the main takeaways of actionable points for your audience. Next, question and answer session. Open floor for questions from the audience and answer them accordingly and clearly. Invite questions, open the floor for questions for audience, answer clearly, respond to questions clearly and concisely. If you don't know the answer, admit it. As I mentioned earlier, admit it and offer to follow up later. Time management is also another crucial point here. Keep track of the time to ensure there is sufficient time for Q&A. Rehearse your presentation multiple times to ensure a smooth delivery of your presentation. Stick to allotted time, avoid rushing, exceeding the time limit. Next. As closing, please thank your audience. Express your gratitude to allow audience for their time and attention. Contact information, provide the contact information in the case anyone wants to reach you out for further discussion. Next is feedback and evaluation. Seek feedback. After your presentation, ask for feedback from peers, mentors, or the audience to improve future presentation. You may also gently give areas of improvement to help the audience to do a better presentation in future, or get additional ideas from you. Reflect on your presentation, what went well, and the areas of improvement, including, as I mentioned earlier, comments, feedbacks. Next. Next, please. Yeah, I would like to give an additional sharing on choosing and selecting research topics. Yeah, when you are presenting, your presentation need to be interesting, fit to the research you do, suitable according to your topic, and of course, of all the other crucial points, choosing and selecting research topics are very important. Selecting a research topic is a crucial decision that shapes your entire research journey. Here is a step-by-step guide to help you to choose the right research topics. Identify your interests. Choose a subject that genuinely interests you. Passion drives motivation and perseverance. Next is narrow down your broad areas. Start with a broad areas field of interest and gradually narrow it down to a specific topic. Review literature. Conduct a thorough literature review to understand existing research gaps and trends. Next. Next, please. Brainstorm research questions or topics based on your interests and next, literature. Next, please. Feasibility. Yeah, feasibility and significance. Assess the feasibility of conducting research on chosen topic. Availability of resources, data, and etc. Evaluate the potential significance and impact of your research. You may give evaluation in depth. Consult your advisor or mentor. Discuss your ideas with your advisors and mentor to get feedback and guidance. You can also get from your peers, fellow researchers, and classmates. Pilot study or pre-research is also another essential steps taken in choosing your topics. Conduct a small pilot study or preliminary research to test the viability and scope of your topic to make your presentation much more interesting and you will be able to relate what actually you are talking about in depth. Next, please. Next, please. Yeah, Refine and define. Clearly define your research question and objective based on feedback and preliminary findings. Ethical consideration. Ensure your chosen topic aligns with ethical guidelines and standards. So you have to keep abreast with the latest development in whatever research you do, so that you will give the correct topic alignments. Flexibility. Be open to modify and adjusting your topic as you delve deeper into the research. Remember, choosing a research topic is a dynamic process. Stay open-minded, be willing to adapt, and continuously engage with the literature and your research community to refine and develop your chosen topic. Next. Next, please. Yeah. Remember to practice effectively communication skills. Maintain eye contact, speak clearly, and engage audience throughout the presentation. Tailor your presentation to the time allotted and be adaptable unexpected changes or questions. Like for information, you can also engage while you're presenting. You may engage your audience with questions, yeah, to hear, to get the feedback on the spot, to make the session more interesting before you continue. Yeah, and tailor your presentation according to the time allotted and adapt to the unexpected changes or questions. Confidence and enthusiasm can greatly enhance the impact of your research paper presentation. Of course, when you choose your presentation, as we mentioned at the beginning of this session, that you have to choose the right color and font size, because I have witnessed and I have attended many presentations. Maybe you have the facts in your research, but the slides, the color, and the font chosen is very boring. Some of them presented in a very boring manner. The background of the slide is also very light color, and the wordings are also very light color, like a light pink. The wordings are white in color, so it's not that legible, not so clear. So if the slides are in this manner, your audience might not be, you cannot find it difficult to engage them in your presentation. They might just switch off their camera. You don't know what is happening out there. You know, they might not be listening. You see, they might not even respond when you ask questions. So this is also very important, the color and the font you use. Yeah, the manner, how interesting you present your presentation. You might have the best point. You might have done the best research, but if you don't have the proper information, proper presentation slide, the color, the fonts, you know, if it's not attractive, it will defeat the purpose sometimes, most of the times. Yeah, because I myself have watched a lot of presentation. I find it's very boring because, you know, our brain will get excited and induced to, be interested if it sees color and images along with words. So next, please. Yes, dear audience, therefore, please give importance to the look of your presentation as well, not only the content. Of course, the content is very important, but be sensitive to your audience and the readers. Yeah, if they are not engaged in your presentation, you're just wasting the time, because they might not absorb what are you trying to say. Yeah, okay. Is there any questions?
Thank you, ma'am. Dear participants,
Is there any question?
Participants?
I think my presentation is very clear. Yeah, unless you have something. Not
Course, ma'am.
Yeah, hope. Yeah, is there any other questions?
Participants, if there is no questions, we'll move on to the end of the session.
Yes.
Let us end the session with formal note of thanks. Is there any questions from participants' side? Yes, madam said rightly that there is no doubt with the participants. I think ma'am has given a very good, crystal clear presentation. Ma'am, really, we thank you so much, ma'am, for spending your valuable time in this weekend. And your presentation, you have tremendously explained how a researcher should present the research. Completing research alone is not enough. And it will be impressive when one do their research presentation in an effective manner. Yes, ma'am, that is 100% true, and definitely your insightful thoughts and ideas will be carried out by every researcher in this forum. I'm sure about it, ma'am. Once again, thank you so much, ma'am,
Thank
for
you.
your splendid session, ma'am. And also, I thank all the participants from all over the world